Okay, great. Greetings. Greetings from Govardhan. The first stage of separation is setting in. That's when you're not separated, but you know you're going. And then you're going, and then you're gone. But I'm trying to take advantage of this. And, my nature is I'd rather stay in my room than go anyplace. I don't like the country. I don't like, it's just my nature. I don't like to move, but somehow or other, every day I'm going out to Sabyasachi drives me on his motorbike, the back road, the bypass road, no one's on it, very safe. And we're bathing in Radha Kund and chanting the noon Gayatri in Radha Kund. It's what can I say? And the experience, because I'm studying to be a Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. It's in next chapter when Narada Muni is explaining to Gopakumar, he's explaining to him deity worship. And it's a very interesting, it says that Krishna has everything. So he doesn't need what you're giving him. But it's a vehicle for offering love, which is his pleasure. So if you do things without love, then you don't get benefit action, but he says, ultimately you'll get benefit. What does that mean? After a long, long time, you'll be purified. So this is really sticking in my mind. Yeah, and therefore people just do the rituals without the consciousness. And then it made this amazing verse, which I shared last time. No, I didn't share, but it said, even if you worship a blade of grass with the understanding that the Paramatma is inside, you can get love of Godhead. But if you worship the deity and you're not understanding it's not different than God, good, come on in, Satya. Yes. Okay, you want to okay, yeah, okay, great. Good, steady. Like to see that. Then even if you worship blade of grass, you worship the deity without consciousness, you get no benefit. So it really struck me because the whole taste in Krishna consciousness is God's reciprocation. That's why bhakti is the abhideya. Because what does it mean to realize a person? It means the person gives themselves to you. You can't understand the person without relationship. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a gyan, an analysis, understanding a person. It's love that understands a person, because then a person is inspired to give themselves to you. So, okay, come in. Okay, go get a mat outside and put it here quickly. They're inside. Okay, now sit down and shut the door. But next time you have to come on time. So that's the taste. The taste in Krishna consciousness. Yes, you'll get benefit. Yes, you'll get benefit. Ultimately, when Prabhupada met Allen Ginsberg after 10 years, you heard of Allen Ginsberg? Beatnik poet, not high behavior. And after 10 years, oh, Prabhupada, he's nicer. Prabhupada said, even if you chant with offense, the effect will be there, but it'll take much longer. So the inspiration I got from studying the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta with Dhanurdhara Swami on deity worship, it's consciousness. And consciousness means what? It's the realization that the name is not different from God, that the deity is not different from God, that the Dham is not different from God, that Radha Kund is liquid Radharani. And when you do things with that consciousness, there's revelation of the object of your love, which is the taste and pleasure. From that, we got into a very interesting discussion based on this Gop Kumar story. See, Gop Kumar, if you know the whole story, let's move over here a bit. Gop Kumar is preaching to the Mathura Brahmin who had the same situation as him. If we go back to the beginning, he met his guru. The same thing happened to the Mathura Brahmin. He got mantra without understanding, without knowledge. So then he comes to Gop Kumar, and after hearing the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, the Mathura Brahmin goes back immediately. And Gop Kumar had to go through the whole universe. So the whole discussion we had for about an hour is why Gop Kumar was able to took so long, and the Mathura Brahmin went quickly. Well, because the Mathura Brahmin heard the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, which is Gop Kumar's experience. In other words, what's carrying Gop Kumar is his Guru Nishtha and his Nam Nishtha. That's carrying him. So much faith. Guru Nishtha and Nam Nishtha. He's so much faith. That's what's carrying him. But what Gop Kumar's lacking that the Mathura Brahmin had is that the Mathura Brahmin is getting some bandhagyan. He's getting knowledge so that he can move forward quickly without having. Otherwise, what's happening with Gop Kumar is this, and the foundation is Nam Nishtha and Guru Nishtha. And that's really, and what's that? That's moving him forward despite all the challenges. Despite all the challenges, it's moving him forward. And he almost gets caught in the abode of liberation. It sort of had this blue color, like Madan Gopal, and it was all pervading, and he almost got sucked in. But the mantra, the faith, kept him moving forward despite all the obstacles. And in one sense, I made a kind. It was such a discussion with His Holiness Niranjan Swami. I was comparing it somehow to the devotees who came at the very beginning of the movement. They got Guru Nishtha and surrender. And it carried them, but there wasn't much time for training. Prabhupada was only here for 7 years until Burijan Prabhu started the VIHE. There was no formal education in ISKCON like they have now. So fortunately, some of us, I don't know, the great, not great devotees, not me, but some, they took Prabhupada's books, they studied, etc. And I was fortunate to live in Vrindavan, which has this kind of culture of Krishna consciousness. But I see a lot of them just went away. They had the Guru Nishtha, it carried them, but they didn't have the Sambandha Gyan because there wasn't that much education, training, Shastra. But still, ultimately, they reached their goal. It carried them. Because now we see a lot of them coming back. Bali Mardan, who was the temple president when I was visiting the temple in Brooklyn, now he retired to the Govardhana village. He's probably in his late 70s. But so I compared that almost to Gop Kumar. You have to go through all your experiences. If you don't have sufficient knowledge, you go through all your experiences, right? And then you say, well, it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this. Of course, but Niranjan Swami, he told me when he gave the lecture at the MIHE, Mayapur Institute of Higher Education, to the graduates, he said, but one thing that we did have is surrender. So we had Prabhupada's books and they were coming out. When I remember Deva Swami selling me books at the Brooklyn Temple in 1971. They weren't even, they were selling chapters. They were publishing chapters of the second canto. Answers by citing the Lord's version, Purusha Shukta confirmed. And the books were coming out, the devotees were reading it, and then they were going out 8, 10 hours a day on Sankirtan and distributing books and surrender. So they had that nam nishta, and they had that surrender, and it carried them far. But you also have to have some bandhigyan. Prabhupada's process is chanting and reading. So I think we're watching Gop Kumar. He doesn't know who Lord Shiva is. He doesn't know who Lord Brahma is. Even if you look at the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Lord Chaitanya defeating the Tattvavadis, the Madhvis. We see Lord Chaitanya defeating the Nimbarkas, Keshava Kashmiri. Because if you don't, and you don't have discrimination, then you think, oh, this is what Prabhupada gave. And then you find out it's not from your experience rather than your understanding. First class intelligence is just by hearing you understand, but you have to hear. So there's all these factors that we're learning from Gop Kumar and this Mathura Brahmin of how to go back to Godhead. Most important thing, Guru Nishta, Nam Nishta. Guru gives the mantra, and you have faith in the Guru, and you have faith in the mantra, and you get experience. Faith is trust, I mentioned a million times. Faith is trust by experience. And then you're willing, with that faith in your goal, to move forward, despite what that sambandha gyan means. It means that some of the things you like, you have to give up, and some of the things you don't like, you have to accept. Bhakti is a liking to serve Krishna. And what does it begin? Adau Shraddha. Oh, that's kind of nice. Tata Sadhu Sanga. It's so nice. Let me be with those people. Bhajana Kriya. It's so nice. The experience deepens. It's so nice. Let me practice. It's so nice. Let me give up those things that anartha, that have no value. It's so nice. Nishta. And from Nishta comes Ruchi. Why Nishta comes Ruchi? Krishna says, Rasam Apsu Konte, I am the taste of water. What is taste of water? Water that's just water. What's the taste of bhakti? Bhakti that's just bhakti. So anyway, this is my main inspiration. I shouldn't just walk out here, my deity's there, walk out. No, Krishna's there. Pay your respects, pay your obeisances. You're going to Radha Kund, you're not qualified. Think about that. Think about what Radha Kund is. Think about what you are. Think about the only way that you're touching that water is because Rupa Goswami mentioned it in the Upadeshamrita. And therefore, on order of Guru only, in the greatest humility, you touch that water. And when you have that respect, then there's reciprocation. then you have such a real. I'm chanting my Gayatri. The weather is like ideal. You'll see my face is a bit red, and water's up to my neck. I actually chanted two Gayatris at that time. When you get going, and you're focused, and it's beautiful. I posted some videos on the WhatsApp channel. I think that you'll enjoy. And we got invited to lunch to Mohan Panda. And his daughter speaks perfect English, and she's an extremely elevated soul. She's talking about marriage. She says, there's no need for me to get marriage. There's no need for me to get married. I have Radha. I have Radhakund. Their house is 2 minutes from Radhakund. Their father spends 12 hours a day at Radhakund. He only comes back for lunch, for dinner, and for sleeping. But she says, I said, you must be dreading it. And she's smiling, though. She said, yes, I'm very fearful. The boys have an advantage because, he gets to stay here, my younger brother. But why are you getting married? She said, because it would put a smile on my father's face. And whatever Radha's mercy is supreme. So if you see those videos, Sabyasachi does a great job. You'll really get right into the Brijbasi's house, and you'll be shocked at what someone at my age, over 75, is eating. Kachoris, pakoras, burfi, glubchubbins. That's the first thing they put on your plate. But now we'll go into the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. What happened? Oh, okay. I know what happened. I'm here. Okay, so text 107, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, athāpi govardhana-gopa-putras, arhasi tvaṁ mathureśa-bhaktaḥ, tad-eka-bhakti-priya-vipra-śiṣyas, tadīya-tan-mantra-paro nuraktaḥ. But you deserve to go to Vaikuṇṭha, O son of a Govardhan cowherd, for you are a devotee of the Lord of Mathurā, a disciple of a brāhmana attached only to the Lord's devotional service, a soul dedicated to the Lord's mantra given to you by Guru, and faithful in your service to the Lord. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadantmayam Dadati Sapadantikam Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Shindu Bhayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So anyway, we're going through this journey of Gop Kumar. It's really hard to pinpoint where it's at, but we know you almost get sucked in to the Brahman. But the mantra carries him. That taste, that experience that God gives you to give you faith. And faith in Guru. And it kind of saves him, and then he sees the interplanetary space travel Lord Shiva, and he's blown away. Lord Shiva is so attractive in the highest ecstatic symptoms. He's so beautiful. And because he doesn't have this Sambandha Gyan, he's explaining this to the Mathura Brahmin, so he doesn't have to go through that experience. But he becomes attracted, and he's not sure if this is his God, right? That this is actually his Madan Gopal, but then he can't find the sweetness in him, because we know that Krishna has 4 qualities that no other entity has. Prema Madhurya, a variety of loving relationships. I wrote an article on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's higher than the Supreme Position of Godhead, because position covers personality. So the fullest manifestation of being can never be in majesty, because the intimate side of the person has to be concealed. And that's why we see Krishna in both the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. The book about Krishna, the book spoken by the first time we see him, as the chariot driver of Arjuna. He's not in a position. It foretells that this will be Akila Rasamrita Murti, the complete embodiment of all relationships. Coming as a cowherd boy, it actually makes sense. So he doesn't have to conceal the beauty, the sweetness of personality, of his romantic, childlike, fraternal side. But then when he's there, then he sees the Vaikuṇṭha. So again, maybe this is the highest, because even Lord Shiva, who he thought was like beyond belief, was worshiping them, and then within them were the 4 Kumaras, and then he got in this incredible anxiety because of his lobha, his greed, but it wasn't directed by faith, by knowledge. It was directed by his faith. So he thought, like, oh my God, who are these people? That even Lord Shiva is amazed at the 4 Kumaras. Among the Vaikuṇṭha, the 4 Kumaras, he said, I want to serve. I told you, prema. You want to be with the person, you want to serve the person, you want a relationship with him. And Gop Kumar is a very special person, because he has this simplicity that he wants, and the spiritual goal. And it's the most important thing to him. And he's traveling to the universe to find what he's looking for. But today, we're doing Harinam Kirtan in Radhakund, the highest place in the universe. Being with pure Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, feeling their love. There's no place to go from there. There's no place to go. Anyway, Gop Kumar, and then he became an anxiety. And one anxiety was, I'm not qualified, which is the symptom of bhakti. And I put in a simple analogy that I've made up myself. I feel this upaman analogy is so powerful to explain why the higher you go in Krishna consciousness, the more humble you become. And I describe bhakti is a thirst for God. So when thirst increases, you feel you have, let's say if you drank water, but your thirst increased, you would feeling you drank water and your thirst, let's say your thirst increased. You would feel more and more, I don't have water, I'm lacking water. Let's say you were eating food, and the more you ate food, you would feel more and more, I don't have food. So bhakti the more you take it, the more you have it, the more you hanker for it, the more you're realizing you or feeling you don't have it. That's lobha. Otherwise, this whole thing of being self-contented is kind of condemned in bhakti. This self-content, I have it. No. What did the sages of Naimisharanya say when they were going to hear the Bhagavatam, rather than doing these boring swaha yagyas? They bore me to death. These people that like to make all the decorations and the pujas, and bores me to death. It's just not my nature. I feel like Bivamangala Thakur when he's at his father's funeral. When the hell is this going to end? What do the sages of Naimisharanya say when they're tasting bhakti? Vayam natu vitript atma uttama shloka vartate. We never became satiated. Yet shrindvatam, and when we hear rasa jnanam, Govinda, Gita Govinda, when we hear shrindvatam, rasa jnanam, swadu, pade, at every step, it's like taking Jai Subhadra's sweet rice. She really knows how to make it. But the torture is, after one bowl, then the rest is just guilt, blood sugar, potential diabetes, increase your cholesterol. But imagine if you took, and every time you took, you got more hungry for it. You got more hungry for it. So Kumar, he has this hunger, simplicity for spiritual life. So he's trying, he's sincere. And Lord Shiva and Parvati, and they kind of hint to Ganesh, and then Lord Shiva gets involved and tells him, he said, I want to go to Vaikuṇṭha, but I'm not qualified. Hey, Lord Shiva said, hey, me too. I'm also not qualified. Because if you do Swadeshu, Dharmeshu, you do everything perfect for 100 births, you can become Lord Brahma, 1,000,000 times more births perfectly, Lord Shiva, and 1,000,000 times more than that, Vaikuṇṭha. So I'm also not qualified. But for you, Govardhan, Govardhana-gopa-putra, the son of a cowherd of Govardhan. We felt that when with Mohan Pandit's kids. Who are these people? They found what they want, and they're completely satisfied 100%. I'm in this room at Radhakund in this little town near this lake, and I will, for the rest of my life, go down to that thing and do pujas for people and come back and eat my mother's cooking. And I've never seen people, I'm completely satisfied. There's nothing else I want, zero. It's in them. And I'm just saying, what is this kid? He graduates from college or high school or something. What do? I help my father. You mean damn it, you go down to Radhakund every day for 12 hours? And my father, even in 35 degrees and the centigrade, which us Americans, we can't figure out what that means. 45 degrees. That's hot, right? Yeah, 45 degrees centigrade, or, he still goes down every day. What?
The body is 38 centigrades. So.
The body's 38. Wow. That is hot. Completely satisfied. So he says, Govardhan Gopi Putra, you're the son of a cowherd from Govardhan. Swabhavika Bhakti. She doesn't have to learn. She doesn't have to study. She loves Radha. She's special. And you are a devotee. You're eka-bhakta. Mathureśa of the Lord of Mathurā, and eka-bhakta. And you have priya, you have exclusive affinity for devotional service. And you're the shishya of a brahmin, and you are tad-mantra-paro, and you're tad-mantra, you're dedicated to your mantra, and nuraktaḥ, and faithful in your service. I'm going to read the purport. Although Sri Vaikuṇṭha Loka is extremely difficult to achieve, Gop Kumar is fit to go there. Lord Shiva merely mentions the 10-syllable Gopal mantra with great respect as tadīya-tan-mantra, the mantra of his, because further words cannot adequately express the glories of the mantra and the extent of its potency. For Gop Kumar, chanting this mantra is not a mechanical exercise, but the means for awakening his intimate, loving reciprocation with Lord Madan Gopal. So we get a diksha, which is really the second initiation. We get the Gopal mantra. And we should be with that, at least that consciousness that this is important enough to give it my best, at least Nambas. It's important enough to give it my best. Whether it's the mantra, the chanting, the deities. So this is what's carrying him forward. Chaturvedeshu mokeshu sayujasya padam twidam prapyam yatinam advaita bhavana bhavitatmanam mahasamsara dukagni jwala samshruka chetasam asara grahina manta sarasara vivekinam mayeva krishnasya deshat patitam brahmanard patitanam brahmanave nijapadam bhuja prema bhakti sangopakakshi. Here is the abode of Suyuja, because he's standing on the cusp of Mahakalapur. That's the abode of liberation. You're out of the material world, but you could become a beautiful particle, serving God as a particle of consciousness. There's a lot of condemnation in that here. Here is the abode of Suyuja, one of the 4 kinds of liberation. Here indeed is the goal of the renunciates whose minds are fixed on the thoughts of absolute oneness. See, I did this before, the last class, so I'm going over, but we can do it again. Whose hearts are dried up in the blazing fire of material miseries, who pursue the worthless as if it were real, unable within themselves to discriminate between what has value and what does not. I make them fall in the ocean of bewilderment by the order of Krishna, who wants to hide from them the secret of prema bhakti to his lotus feet. Why? Because Sadulabha, because bhakti controls Krishna. He doesn't want to give it so easily. Love controls one. Because love, bhakti sanjayate bhakti. If you really love one, and they're a worthy person, they will love you so much. And when you love that person, you're controlled by their love. In other words, you'll want to please them. You'll want to do what they want to do. So it's kind of like a Sridhar Prabhupada, like a divine slavery. You're captured, but it's love. You're serving. So when you're moving according to someone else's desire, it could be because you're incarcerated, you're captured, and there's one type of feeling that's oppression, but you can also be captured out of love, real love. And it's pleasure, it's intense happiness. I'm just going to read it. Devotees who care only for the ecstasy of worshiping the Supreme Lord neglect this impersonal abode. Knowing this, you should too reject it as an obstacle to your progress. So he has to fight with it, and then he's getting sambandha gyan gradually. He's getting it gradually. Siksha Guru, Lord Shiva, Siksha Guru, Uddhava, Siksha. He's getting it along the way, and then he's progressing. But the mature Brahmin is getting it all at once through hearing the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. He's getting stuck in Mahakal. He has to get this sambandha gyan strongly, that the soul is not God, and God is not material. He has to get a little knowledge, and he goes forward. Very cleverly, the Brahmin residing in Dwarka who wanted to taste the rasa of Krishna Bhakti brought his sons here, from here to Dwarka. And that's the story of the Brahmin that somehow his son died prematurely. I think it's in the Krishna book, and he went there. So it says, besides the scripture, here's an example of a respectable person who proved that Suyuja Mukti is undesirable for the Vaishnavas. He came to complain to Krishna about the untimely death of his newborn sons, and to bring his sons back from the abode of liberation. So, as a personal example, he was there, Suyuja Mukti. I think if we don't have sambandha gyan and we don't have experience and taste, we could get caught. Sarupanand, Ananda, pleasure. I'm swimming in the eternal hammock with a cool breeze. I don't have to do anything for my pleasure. I'll just say as a particle of consciousness and merge, and no more suffering in this world. Sometimes I tell you, we want liberation. We get some horrible problem, right? And our whole focus and happiness is to get rid of that problem. You get some disease. I wish I freed that disease. And it describes in Madhurya Kadambini, it describes what coming to like the spiritual world is like. It's like you're in a desert, dying of thirst, and you come into an oasis of like unlimited nectar, or this is a liberation, or you're dying of 100 serious, you're afflicted with 100 serious diseases, and all of a sudden you're free from them. But that's not positive. Like you dunked under the water, it's pleasure when you come up and get breath, but everybody's breathing. So what really is the pleasure? So Lord Shiva is giving him siksha. Don't stay here. Don't stay here in Mahakalpur. And he gives him this personal example. When I'm with Dhanurdhara Swami, we read all these long purports. Sometimes they're pages. I couldn't possibly keep the audience's attention if I did that here, I think. I would be. Yet, even here, you have seen the Supreme Lord in this form because your divine Guru gave you his mercy. That mercy created you the strong desire to see Krishna, which impelled Krishna to reveal himself. So what is Brahman? There's not a Brahman, a Bhagavan, a Paramatma. There's Vedanta Tat, Tattva Vidas, Tattva Yajnanam Advayam. There's one thing. Brahman, Paramatma, wait. Vedanta Tat, Tattva Vidas, Tattva Yajnanam Advayam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti. It's just called different things according to your perspective, right? Right? Satya, you're called teacher. You're also called daughter. It's one thing. It's not that there's one person's a teacher and one person's the daughter. You get married, then you'll be wife. It's not there's three different people. There's one person. It's according to the perspective. So when even the devotee, when he was in Mahakalapur, the abode of liberation, he was able to see through it. And when he saw through it, and he got that darshan, strong desire to see Krishna, which impelled Krishna to reveal himself. That's bhakti. Bhakti is the abhideya, because love impels the object of love to give you their heart. In Mahakalapur, the same place where many came to experience in personal liberation, Gop Kumar had darshan of the beauty of Lord Mahakal Vishnu. If by the mercy of a guru and the Vaishnava one is eager to see the Supreme Person, nothing can stand in the way of his success. In Krishna consciousness, our determination is an absolute fact. We're separated from God only by our desire. Nothing can stand the way of the success of the Vaishnava if he's eager. I think Satyananda Swami gives an example. Someone's caught in the rain and he's trying to get in this house and he's pulling at the door and he's pulling at the door. Well, there's two things. One, you can knock on the door. The only way is someone lets you in. So they'll let you in if they're compassionate, which God is, and you're sincere, which your sincerity is reflected in your voice. I forgot which sannyasi told me this, but he was, he was on some beach and some beautiful girl was swimming in the ocean and she started to, he was a young sannyasi and she started to drown. Help, help. But he listened to her voice and he can tell she wasn't drowning. She wasn't sincere. She just wanted to get this young sannyasi to save her. You can hear it in the voice. Or the other one, you're pulling on the door for hundreds of years, but it opens the other way. The other way, bhakti. What is this? Very difficult to, no, there's something I was reading. I got to remember which class. The wives of the Brahmins, the cowherd boys were saying, please give us this food. Dharma Vittama, O best of the Brahmins. Then they said, you're acting childish. Why are you acting childish? Because you're performing these arduous sacrifices, swaha, swaha, and all these rituals, satkarma, nipano, vipro, mantra, tantra, visharada, a Vaishnava, Guru Naset, Swapacho, Vaishnava Guru. You're performing all these rituals and all these things, but you're a fool. Just give us the food for Krishna. It's so simple. Just surrender to Krishna. And again, I repeat that famous story that, Kirtananda Swami was staying in the Bhakti Center. Initially, he was a visionary. He had that building. They were getting him out. So me and Radhanath Swami went to visit him. And he had this way with words of speaking like, well, he said, you can't surrender in the past. You can't surrender in the future. You have to surrender now. It's so simple. It's so simple. The process is simple. The application is difficult. The process is simple because anyone could do it. The application is difficult because we don't want to do it. We don't want to do, we're childish. That's what the wives of the Brahmin, the cowboy is saying to the Brahmins, you're childish. Just give us the food. They didn't even say Om. Om was the Vedic way of saying it's Shastra, yes. They didn't even hear. They didn't even recognize them. And they said, Babukshaka, Krishna is hungry. And the Vedic injunction is you have to give food to hungry. And you're sitting there eating your sweets, you'll take the Mahaprasadam, you got your big bellies, and you think you're advanced when there are people that need food and we're hungry and we were out all day with the cows and you don't give us food. So he's telling you, but you're strong that you saw Krishna. Gopkumar said, "O Brahmin," now he's speaking to the Mathura Brahmin, "Lord Shiva's mercy filled me with the greatest ecstasy. I wanted to say something, but was unable because I felt too shy." Simple. Not feeling, I'm so great, I'm the center. Simple. In front of Lord Shiva, he does not want to talk. Purport, Gopkumar wanted to inquire from the Vaikuṇṭha messengers, but he couldn't say anything. Bhagavat Parshada Shrutva Tam Tam Vacham Imapate Panamya Sararam Pritya Tam Uchar Vanayam Vita. Upon hearing Lord Shiva's words, the associates of the Supreme Lord bowed down respectfully before him and addressed him with great pleasure and humility. Purport, before explaining their reason for having come, the visitors from Vaikuṇṭha first wanted to say something to ease Gopkumar's sorrow. This accomplished, they could then awaken Gopkumar's love of Godhead, by which he would automatically forget his anxiety. The associates of the Supreme Lord said, "O Lord Shiva, there is no difference between you and the Supreme Lord, the Master of Vaikuṇṭha, nor between Gauri and Ram. There's no difference. Radha expands herself. It's not different. Krishna, there's no difference between all the incarnations of God in the sense they're the same person in different levels of revelation of themselves. And in terms of that spiritual realm, when the person has a different revelation of themselves, they can also stand separately as a person. Krishna, 1,008 wives in different palaces, he was doing things. That's why Hanuman said, the Pandavas are so close. I mean, they're like friends with Krishna. It's an amazing. I'm a reverential servant, but they're so intimate. And then he's enthusiastic. Yes, let's go see the Pandavas. It's so great. But then Hanuman's away. I'd be careful there. I'll make mistakes. And even your father, Narada Muni, he became bewildered in front of Krishna. And Narada Muni, you became bewildered. You saw him in 16,108 palaces, then he comes and merges into one person. So they're all, they're expansions. It's the same person. Therefore, you can worship Brahma as Krishna. Oh, my Lord, Krishna, he's dressed as a king. It's Krishna, he's dressed as a king. You think of Krishna. I give the story, it's kind of humorous. To my mother, I was her son. And when she saw the guru, and she comes to my vyasa-puja and everybody's worshiping me, She likes it. But she saw her son. She saw her son. Taloke bhavato vaso devyascha kila yujite kyata priyastamastasya vatarascha bhavam maham. Indeed, it is fitting for you and the goddess Gauri to reside at Lord Krishna Vishnu's abode, for you are renowned as his dearest friend and his exalted incarnation. So Gopkumar is saying, yeah, for you, you're Priyatama. You're Priyatama, and you're his avatar. So you have that adhikar, but for me, I'm not qualified. And that's bhakti. We're not qualified for bhakti. Because if we're qualified for bhakti, if we can purchase bhakti, then how much could it be worth? You're not really understanding what its value is. So the path of bhakti is the path of grace. It's the path of grace. We feel that. Not qualified. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Braj? Huh? Govardhan, the Lord's abode, and then we get to go to Radha Kund today? What? Us? Why? It's only causeless mercy. And Prabhupada has a lot of mercy. A lot of mercy. Tatapi yaridam kinchit pashitam bhavataduna subhavo bhagavat preshta tamatau payiko yaham. Yet what you have just spoken suits perfectly the mood of the dearmost devotee of the Lord. Okay, we'll continue this nectar. And you just send me, and I'll just send you the link. You sit peacefully. It's twice a week we do this. It's so nice hearing the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. Okay. Okay, a few people just say hello. It's always nice. We have a few people to say hello.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for class.
Okay, Jamuna Jaya, what point did you like?
I really have been really liking how you're saying that the Gopakumar had both the faith and the mantra in his guru, but lacking the knowledge. And that which you started off with today, that the importance of Sambandha Gyan, and it's always making me think of when people talk about the Bhagavad Gita, how the bhakti section's in the middle, but shored up by the Gyan at the back end of it. Because without that, then it makes the journey go slower.
And our knowledge is bhakti itself. It's not just Gyan, it's bhakti itself, but it describes in the Bhagavatam, how do you realize the absolute truth? The seriously acquisitive sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, worships the Supreme Lord with devotion by what he heard from the scriptures. So knowledge and detachment. Without knowledge, you don't know what to do. And without discipline, you can't do it. So we have to have those things. Yeah, thank you, Jamuna Jaya.
Thank you,
How's
Raj.
Yoga Maya doing?
Good. On Sundays, I have to be in the room a little bit earlier. That's why I have to log off at just the quarter of the hour but it's doing well.
Do you do the teacher training there?
I do part of the teacher training. Yeah, Bryn has about 4 of us split it up, but I handle all the stuff like the Yoga Sutras and the basic yoga philosophy and bhakti. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And the studio is successful?
Yeah, it's probably one of the most successful studios in the city, I have to say. Her trainings are packed. Attendance is good. So Bryn is doing really well with it.
I was the spiritual director.
Yes, right.
And you became a devotee when you came to my my class on bhakti.
Yes.
Those are powerful days. So now you're doing it. Okay,
I
great.
hope to continue. Thank you,
Okay,
Raj.
great. Anybody else say hello?
Hello, Maharaj. This is Denny.
You're working?
Oh, yeah, I'm working today on this one. Yeah. Just got done with a meeting and got to log on. I didn't think I was going to be able to join, but the meeting wasn't very long.
Okay, but you're here
Had to
now.
get an employee's job back. He wasn't doing a very good job, so they fired him, gave him his job back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
stuff I deal with.
You're in the truck now?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Waiting on the semi to bag in.
Okay, I'll see you in another week and a half. Okay.
Yes. Can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll send me a message next week so I can speak and see if I can come a little earlier and meet you, okay? We
Okay,
can
that'd be
talk
great.
about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming all the way there. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Jai Shri Radhe. I'm
Thank you
saying
for
Jai
the
Shri
class.
Radhe. I wasn't calling your name. I was just saying Jai Shri Radhe. I became excited. Okay, I'll see you. I'll see you at your house. That'll be nice.
Yes, we're
The
looking
Jagannath
forward to it.
Mandir. Okay, I'll come pick up my stained glass window.
Wonderful. It's waiting for you.
Okay, Haribo.
Hare
Nice.
Krishna.
Okay, anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Kalachandji, nice to see you.
Thanks so
Okay.
much for class. Great class.
Okay, good. Yeah, how can I fail? I go to Radhakund and we do kirtan at Radhakund. We bathe respectfully, or I bathe. Then we go to Mohan Panda and take prasadam and then do kirtan. And then have an hour class with Niranjana Swami. So I don't know. I'm becoming addicted to it. I don't know if I can. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think Satya, I'm going to send you to Radhakund with a bottle to get me a little bottle of water and a few things. You can go with Siddharth together. Okay. Nice to see you. We'll see you on the 10th.
Thanks.
That's going to be
Hare
great.
Krishna.
Great. Looking forward to it. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gamaraj. It's all Govinda.
And Bṛhad, thank you for class.
Thank you for class.
We'll see you soon.
Yes.
My eyebrows need some clipping.
I was really hoping. I thought you were coming back on the Monday.
My barber is arhasi-bhaktaḥ.
How was the lunch at Mohan's? It was really good, right?
It was good, but it was like, it wasn't, it was the heavy stuff, but somehow it was digestible. It didn't affect me that way, but, a kachori, first the gulab jamun, then this big piece of like thick burfi, then a kachori, then some pakoras and chutney. I said, what they're going to get anything that's a little simpler there? But then came rice and then came, okay, Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay. All right, we'll see you all. I'm going to head out now. Okay. Bunch of culpa to